The biggest advantage for a SaaS is that it's like a living organism. It's improving all the time. You should use all the time the new things that appear. Otherwise, and your dreams will remain only dreams. What will be the biggest struggle that you have it? It's to sell your product.
Welcome to Sweat, Tears and Equity, a podcast by Fortech Investments, where we discuss the untold truths of funding and funding startups. Our guests are founders, investors, and other players from the ecosystem who learn these valuable lessons the hard way. They share the things that they wish they knew earlier about the challenges that lie in this journey, the things that no one prepared them for, so you and other founders can navigate this bumpy road successfully. So hello everyone, we have today Ciprian Cazacu from EasySales, the CEO and co-founder of the startup named EasySales.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you, and I'm glad and happy to be here to share from my experience and in order maybe to make others to go forward for their dreams.
Super cool, exactly on point, because this is what we wanted to hear. Before we get into, the juicy things, I'd like to, find out more about you in terms of background. And then we'll get into the inception of EasySales and tell me about your dynamic duo with your brother more. But let's start about you, the co-founder of the startups, and what's your professional background and how did you get to this point?
Oh, I actually have a very interesting story about what I did before, because I started by being my first job that I basically took from the newspaper. It was a virtual miner. Yeah, basically
Okay.
someone hired me in order to go with his starships from a video game, and mining some asteroids.
Nice. What was the name of the video game?
It was
Okay, it doesn't matter.
I forgot, but I remember the name. One of the name of the minerals was plagioclast.
Wow, okay.
uh, I'm surprised that I forgot the name of the video. But even so, I worked for 2 months, usually in the night, because I was studying at that moment. I was in the first year of at the university, and after that, I've worked in a telecom company in order to plug all the Bucharest on the internet.
Oh, so
So
infrastructure, right?
yeah, infrastructure.
Okay.
Yeah. After that, in a data center. After that, I've worked in a bank.
Wow.
So in a multinational bank in Romania. And after that, I've moved to Capgemini, basically a consulting company, from where I learned a lot of things. Many of them in sales, because I didn't have enough experience in this area. And in order to be a good consultant, it's very important to have some sales skills. And after that, in Vodafone, in a multinational company again, from where I've unfortunately, for around 1 year, I've worked also to EasySales and also to Vodafone until I broke up from Vodafone and I remain only with EasySales.
But I guess that's a lesson to be learned. I mean, if you want to go towards entrepreneurship, sometimes you got to put some extra work in it. It just doesn't happen overnight, right?
Yeah, of course. And it should be keep in mind that I've worked with my brother. And my brother, it was at the beginning when we built the product full time there.
Okay.
So very dedicated. At the beginning, the sales wasn't necessarily took a lot of time, but things are changing. When you have the product, at least the minimal viable product, you should start selling it.
Now, before jumping into the sales process of the product, tell me a little bit more about how did you guys, come up with this idea? Did you know that you are going to solve a problem with your product? What was the expertise from? How did you think about it?
No, the idea started from a necessity, but again, something that is tightened with my history is that since I've worked in in that company where I worked at a data center, I've made another company. I had since this year another company that basically were some vending machines in which put it in some office buildings and sell something.
Okay.
It's very important to have some experience in business, in real business. And now it's how it's tightened with the current experience and how we take the decision is that my brother at some point of time he didn't have any jobs, even if he had a brilliant mind and is a very good programmer and so on. He passed through some unfortunate experience from the health perspective. And lose the eager to work further. And he also had the previously company before. So it's important to have some experience in the business area to know even how to make an invoice or even how to deal with the accounting or some small steps, small things, if you think like from my perspective now. But at that moment, it was very important to have been learned, you know. And when I started with my brother, basically I said, let's make a company, my brother, with you this time, because it's my dream from the childhood. It was my dream to have a company with him. And I will take, because he failed, he bankrupt with that company. And I will take the sales part from my perspective, and we'll take care, you'll develop, you'll make things, and I'll sell it for you. And we'll not bankrupt. Because I have my company also, still have it, as I told you, now I close it. But, and it didn't bankrupt. Okay, I didn't go sky high, but I didn't bankrupt. And let's make it together, something. And because he didn't care too much, he's totally different than me. I'm extrovert, he's introvert. So we have different perspective of the world, but it's a good thing and bad thing in the end. That was the moment when we start to work together in order to create some websites, for some customer. That was the initial idea.
Okay.
So what's happened next? It's basically the first 3 customers that I know, 2 of them, and the third one, it was from an announce on the OLX platform that we are making websites. All those 3 didn't want to have a website or to renew the website or wherever. Basically, they want to help them to list their products on the marketplaces. Okay. And for the first 2, I send them, look, hire a student, they will do manual work, put your products, etc. Even I put in contact first of the 2 to hire the same student, in order to split the cost. But when the third one came and have a lot of problems because he had 3 websites, he already was on 2 marketplaces, he had 2 warehouses, and the problems that occurred between all the data that travel along those platforms and warehouse and etc., we discovered that it's, again, having in mind that I also have a consultant's experience. I discovered that, seems that maybe it's a gap in the market. Let's study a little bit. And that was the moment when we realized that we can build a product like this and it will bring value to the community of the e-commerce.
Cool. So you said a lot of valuable things. I mean, you could, first of all, you saw the need, the specific need, but you had the, consultant, let's say, mindset that allowed you to understand, if I will build a product here, I can be a market fit with the...
We study, even before to build a product, we took a little bit how big is the e-commerce market.
So you did the research, right?
We made a little bit research. Unfortunately, not enough. Even for my experience, I didn't study enough. For example, the competition outside the Romania. In the Romania, it wasn't known at the moment. But we think about it that we are doing something revolutionary all over the world. But in England or US, there are companies 10 years before us. Okay. So we didn't study a little bit enough.
Okay.
But that helps us in the end, because we reinvented the wheel again, but totally different.
Nice.
And because what's happening, especially in the tech spec, it's the technology evolving all the time. And you should use all the time the new things that appear. Otherwise, when you are starting 10 years before, when everything was on premise and now everything is in cloud, for those old companies that we didn't study enough and they were being our competitors, was on premises. And when they moved on the cloud and web technology, it wasn't so easy to adapt. And they came with the old habits, okay, from the customers, because they been used to use those technology in that way. But we came with something new, fresh, that it's much more easy to adapt. It's more friendly because it was built from the scratch. And that helps us a lot. And even now it's helping a lot in order to expand more and more.
Cool. Now, this brings me to actually two questions. First of all, if you're looking back at things, the fact that you didn't over-research the market and maybe didn't get scared a little bit of the competition, did that, I don't know, kickstart the product actually faster? I mean, overthinking maybe actually an enemy in that stage?
For sure. I met a lot of friends of mine, Romanians, okay, that most of them are discouraged from the start. And they do not start, Even us, we started from another idea, to make websites for customers. But step by step, trying, failing. At some point, we had a lot of problems with money. The reason that I remain in Vodafone was because I have a huge credit in the bank, taken in order to finance the company, at the beginning and so on. And I didn't afford to lose the job, and in the end, being myself bankrupt, and all those things.
But they bring resilience, right?
Yes, exactly. And point us to the right direction in the end. But without doing nothing, because you are discouraged from the beginning, you'll not go forward, and your dreams will remain only dreams.
True. So always taking action means so much. I think that it's
you'll adapt. It's in our nature.
True.
Humans are adapting.
Especially in our culture.
Especially in our culture. But we are changing, Again, now we start internationalization.
That was the second question that I wanted to ask you, because you talked about competition and the way that your product looks at this point. So how do you see, I don't know, going outside of Romania? We often see here startups that are, I don't know, born in Romania, but they're having a lot of, I don't know, hard times to go outside the borders. What's your tactic, let's say strategy? How do you look at these things?
Yeah, first of all, again, it's normal. If you are looking from a Romanian perspective, it's normal. Our country, basically, it's totally different than many of other countries around us. Even from the language perspective, we are the only Latin country that is in the middle of only Slavic countries except Hungary, that it's also not Latin country.
Yeah, sure. But there's the flavor of Slavic and Balkanic in the region.
It's a flavor, but it's not the same.
Sure.
We are totally different. We are low, let's say, even if we are in the Eastern Europe country, we are the most American country in the region.
True.
Yeah. So that is a very specific thing that is not fitted most of all with the region, and even with the Western countries. We are a very particular country, and from this perspective, it's very hard to meet the expectation of the customers, because when you are going in another country or in another region or wherever, what will be the biggest struggle that you have it's to sell your product. To meet the expectation of the final customer, to have the same buyer person, let's say like this. So from this perspective, being a totally different doesn't help in order to go abroad. And again, we are coming to adaptation. You should adapt on the local market that you want to go in. And we start as a regional country based on the needs of the clients, because what it's important to say is that we started integrated eMAG, and eMAG it's also in the another two countries, Hungary and Bulgaria.
Yeah, I know.
And the demand of using our product came naturally by the users that are using eMAG in those countries. And also users from those countries want to sell in Romania, because Romania, again, it's the biggest country in the region. And that helps us in order to go in those countries. Now we have a totally different strategy, because from now on eMAG didn't expand more.
Okay.
But competition came here. Romanian country is growing year to year, and that is more attractive for investors, for other companies. That it's very hard to go in very well developed countries like in the western of the Europe, where things are very well stratified and put it in order. They want to go in
Emerging countries,
emerging countries like Romania, and the competition came here. That forced us a little bit to rethink our strategy of going international. And that was the moment when we realized that the biggest struggle that we have for Romania, because we were the first type of this platform, of this solution for Romania, it was to teach the users, the potential customers, how we can help them in order to adopt a product like us, let's say, not necessarily us. But when we look at, for example, the competitor that came here, it was from Poland, and they've been in Poland from 20 years, and they already have more than 22,000 users there. We realized that it's a very big market, that it's very well educated, and they are looking for products or solution like us, and it isn't another options like we are for them. And the demand is very high, and we are at the beginning of expanding in Poland right now, but we already have a lot of customers, we already have a lot of discussion, we'll participate, and we are adapting a little bit the product in order to have all the things are needed for the Polish market.
Okay. Now, just to be a little bit clear, especially for our audience, please tell me what is EasySales in the most simple terms possible. Yeah, in the most simple terms possible.
Yeah, it's one-stop platform where sellers, or merchants, any company who sells products can manage the entire activity of them in only one place. So it's only one dashboard, let's say, like this, where you can manage entire activity of e-commerce.
Okay, cool. Now you mentioned eMAG earlier.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, especially when your startup, I don't know, sells something like a B2B, it has a B2B value prop, but it's dependent.
We are only B2B.
I got that. But it's so dependent on bigger players in the market, at least in the first time when you need to get traction.
Yeah,
How do you do that? I mean, you told me about your sales experience, but how did you come up with the strategy that allowed you to have this, let's say, key partnerships, I guess, or partnerships at the beginning?
Any partnership with eMAG, and we still don't have now.
What is the relationship actually with them?
It's not any relation. It's a relation like any other company.
Okay, but it brings users through them to your platform?
No.
Okay, explain a little bit.
Actually, they didn't promote us. They promote the Polish competition that came in Romania, because they've been interested in order to bring Polish sellers to sell their products in
to increase
their base. So what we did, basically, we helped the Romanian sellers that eMAG had it in order to sell abroad or in other marketplaces in Romania. And let's say it also helps them, also helps eMAG, because first of all, all the merchants that use EasySales and are selling in eMAG have a higher, they have notes for each customers. And if, for example, if you don't deliver fast enough, or you don't have enough goods on your inventory or whatever, you'll receive a bad note, and in the end you can kick out from eMAG.
Okay.
So all of our customers have a very good experience in eMAG. And we help them to efficientize their activity even in the eMAG. But we do not necessarily bring new customers for
Okay,
eMAG.
so it's about streamlining, basically.
It's about streamlining, yeah.
Okay.
And from this perspective, let's say we do not have any partnership with eMAG, only commercial one, but we invite them at our event, or we are going to their events, like a normal partnership, but not promoting. Instead, they promote the Polish guys.
Okay, I got it.
So from this perspective, and until at least now, if we'll go in the Polish, maybe we'll have another other discussions. But it was a risk. Actually, it was a risk at the beginning when we started, because if eMAG wants at that moment, we would been forbidden in eMAG, for example.
Yeah.
And in that case, it would be a problem for us. But you know how it is. You look at the legislation, also legislation for Europe, at least, with the competition rules, helps a lot, because it's like if we would be forbidden at that moment, it's basically like you do not allow competitors. Yeah. So we tackle with a lot of courage in order to go further and to not be very easy discouraged, because in the end their customers want a solution like that. It wasn't necessary from their perspective, and in the end all those competitors like Amazon, like eBay, like Allegro from Poland or wherever, Kaufland, all those competitors, they will not do the battle in the suppliers area. They will do the battle in the acquiring and satisfying the final customers.
Okay.
Because as we see now with Temu, with Shein, with other platforms that came from China, in the supplier area, it will be very hard to keep the suppliers to be only yours, to not let them to go to the competitors. So in the end, for the majority of the companies, let's say not necessarily in the e-commerce domain, you'll have a lot of reasons to be discouraged, to see all the danger that can occur around you. But adapt, find solution. In the end, that is the reason, in the end, that you are basically a founder instead of those that are not. Yeah.
So simple. Yeah.
It's simple, but even if it's so obvious, not all the time you have it in mind, you know?
Yeah, true. Now, being in this landscape of AI, everybody's using the buzzwords right now. I was curious about the way that you guys are looking into technology, maybe to, I don't know, not expand, but maybe improve the product, if there's such a thing, to improve a product like yours through AI.
I think the biggest advantage for a SaaS is that it's like a living organism. It's improving all the time. And first of all, you are paying a subscription to us, and our job is to improve the product all the time.
And you have the data to be driven in terms of improvements.
Exactly. And it's what we are doing. Yeah, it's in our core company. So starting from that, when we've been one of the first that used ChatGPT before being public. Yeah, we applied to ChatGPT because they had at the beginning some companies that were allowed to test it.
I know.
And we've been one of those companies, and we tested and we knew what will happen when they appeared. So we were shocked and amazed. We are using now ChatGPT all the day in many departments, from marketing, even developers are using it. So we are using in all the activities that we are doing right now. Even we integrated in our platform some area that are relevant and can provide successful results. But still, in even ChatGPT and any other solutions they're expensive. They are not cheap.
They're getting cheaper. They will start to be.
Hopefully, but for now, if you are using through the API, not like a
I know.
It's very expensive, and it doesn't pay off in the end. In order to be fully integrated in our platform, we tested. We even tried to give it to some customers, and they said that they are too expensive for them, and still it's worth paying, at least in Romania, paying people to be hired and do work and do it manually.
Okay.
Probably with the time, when they will learn more,
Sure.
it will be more useful.
So LLMs will definitely help your business model in the future.
Actually building one of it.
Okay.
Because we are using external solution like Google, for example, in order to translate the products in multi-languages.
Yeah.
And we are building an ALM.
Yourselves. Okay. With a specific focus.
With a specific focus of e-commerce and to translate the products.
Cool.
So
we. I guess that's a thing that everybody should be aware of nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, AI definitely will change and is already changing the landscape. And you should be aware of the tools, that you have at your disposal right now.
Frank, I think we should hire. Now we are 20 people. We should hire already another 2-3 more if AI that didn't exist.
Yeah.
1 year before, until now. So that is changing a lot. It's helping a lot.
So basically, what it narrows down, especially when you look at teams in startups, you can be more agile and you can build a product with fewer people and get to market earlier.
For sure. And it's helping you, especially in the content area. You do a lot of better content. You have many more ideas. Even we want to do a campaign. How you suggest? Give me 5 ideas.
You're bouncing off of ChatGPT. I know.
And give you a lot of ideas.
I want to ask you about funding. Now, obviously, being a co-founder, that's something that your mind is pretty occupied with. But you have you have 3 perspectives that bring a lot of value. And we started our discussion with the fact that our audience will hopefully be future, entrepreneurs, founders. And it's so much value that we can get from you because you have these 3 perspectives. You went to access grants. You went to a crowdfunding, to SeedBlink, right?
Yeah.
So towards, let's say, the angel communities. And then you also accessed through VC funds. Please tell me about each experience. And also, let's see if there's some stories that are, we could all learn from you, from those 3 experiences.
Yeah.
Take your time. Yeah.
Starting from the beginning, we even took some governmental funds at the beginning. And I think is the worst solution, from my experience, of course, that you should apply for it. Not European, but governmental.
So local, right?
Local, yeah. With Startup Nation, yeah. Okay. But because it, at least in my mind, that's my expectation or hope that now it's not happening like then. It was the first program of Startup Nation.
It was the first wave, basically.
Yeah, and nothing was in place as it should be. And no one, even from the governmental, didn't know how it should work and etc. And we encountered a lot of problems. And in the end, arriving by taking loans in order to cover some equipment that we still have it in our in our storage area because we didn't in the end use it anymore because we ordered it in 2017 and basically we received the funds and etc. in 2019, and 2 years later, it wasn't.
Everything. Yeah, sure. So
So
delay will.
delay and a lot of headaches, a lot of focus, a lot of things that in the end didn't pay us off for 14,000 euros. The amount of money, it wasn't so big in order to worth the struggle that we have it. So from my perspective, probably doesn't pay off.
It didn't pay off. Okay.
Yeah. The second, what we did when we almost remained without money, and I think it's happening to many of the founders and company at the beginning of the road, it's to look for another funding. If the bank say no anymore, where you are going? To parents, friends, etc. But even so,
what's the next best thing, right? An angel, probably.
Yeah, an angel. Yeah, actually, from some friends, I arrived on a group of angels.
Okay.
From which they basically say, yes, let's go together. This, I don't know, 60,000. I don't know how many we take.
Was this done through SeedBlink's platform?
No.
So this was outside of any platform. It was your own efforts, right?
It was our own efforts. Yeah.
Okay.
And that allows us to move in another office, to hire more people, and to start selling it more. Of course, also those money are finishing. You know how it is. I don't know when, or even in Amazon, I think after 12 years, basically they start making profit.
Yeah.
So depends how big you want to be. You'll not stop to take money anymore. So if you want to be a global product as we want, basically we'll need investment all the time.
Okay.
Or many years from now.
A lot of follow-ons, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So the second thing, to go to the crowdfunding. At that moment, it just appeared in Romania. Again, if you are a founder, you should be very in contact with what's happening in the market in that particular moment. The timing is very, very important in order to take the best decision with the information that you have on that timing. If you expect more, as I mentioned before with the governmental funds, it will not gonna work. It's passing the moment, the proper moment. So at each proper moment, you should focus and take in consideration all the things from that moment. And at that moment in Romania, started this SeedBlink through a crowdfunding platform, and it was very popular. And we observe what's happened with the company that took the money, and we observe that they basically increase more. I say, let's discuss with them, let's test if it's gonna work.
Okay.
And basically, after we listed in 2 days, we took double the money that we
so you had an objective to raise.
Yes,
that's how things work as far as I know, right? On SeedBlink.
Yes.
And in 2 days we
passed double.
Oh really? That's cool.
And we closed the round, and
that's cool.
That was the first iteration of the.
So I guess that's something that could work, and actually SeedBlink is doing a great job.
And more than that, what's happening, it's all those 100, I don't know, between 50 and 100 investors that came, that promote EasySales. And what we discover more, we gave with this solution, we gave the opportunity for our employees at that moment to be part of the investors of the company.
Okay.
And what's happened, half of them, they basically participate to the investment of the company.
That's nice.
And 10% of our customers, they invest at that moment, they invest in us. So that gives us a lot of visibility.
Sure.
With crowdfunding, that it's one of the advantage that you don't see it. What's happening with the crowdfunded, it's that it's like more on exchange market. They are very emotional. They are not thinking on numbers necessarily. And it's important to have a good name in the market, to have a good, even if you are lower, to have a good prestige.
Yeah, sure.
Otherwise, if you like a person, because especially at the beginning of the road in this experience of entrepreneur, it will be very hard to not be judged like a person. And if you have a bad reputation, I don't know, if you had previously a company that you close it and I don't know, you didn't pay your debts and so on, probably not gonna work for you.
Okay.
But
That's valuable. I mean, that's really valuable to tell
yeah,
people that exposure, profile,
exactly,
market recognition, background, all those things matter a lot.
Yes, even for the future customers, because you are very exposed with all the data, because they are public, more or less, they are public, and anyone they can see how what is your number of subscribers or customer and so on. So they'll trust you. Look, those guys are trying to do something good, something valuable. Let's try to see their products. Let's test it. And in the end, basically, they help you. But keep in mind, the markets are emotional. And especially in some period like these times when you do not know what to expect, what will be the results in United States election that influence basically all of the world. People are not so willing to invest like in that period when even governments, especially after the pandemic, throw a lot of money in order to cover the problems that appeared with the COVID, and people had a lot of money and they are looking in which to invest. The interest, was lower, and it wasn't pays enough in order to make a deposit in your bank and
you had a good ROI if you were to invest at that moment in tech.
Yes.
I still believe that it's happening even today. I mean, I am a believer. If I would be an investor, I would invest even in a low market.
Yes, but not like before.
Sure, because it's human nature. You said that.
It's human nature, exactly. Yeah. So depends on the timing. You should look for the best solution that you have. And in the end, of course, naturally, after we grew, because this amount of money give us power to invest in order to develop product and grow the base of the customers, the business, And also VCs appears like driven by the results that we have it with what we did before. And in this case, it was a natural step to go. Of course, it came with other provocation that we didn't had before. I didn't had before, because it came with some rules, with some metrics to measure, with other things that we didn't focus until at that moment. But I think it's a good thing in order to be more aware of how the business is growing, because I had a lot of other friends, or let's say other investors that said, you'll grow until, let's say, 1 million, and when you'll arrive at 1 million, you'll see that you should focus on another things than before. And now we are there. And we are looking, I think I understand now what they said before. So those advisors are also very important, even if they are from VCs or from your circle of friends or knowledge of from your industry that you are. It's very important to have a very good advisor that will be with you from the beginning, maybe until.
Okay, so basically the VC also provides the, let's say, smart money component, the mentorship, the help, probably, right?
Yeah. Depends on the VCs, not all of the VCs.
But did you scout the VC through that lens? I mean, looking at, I don't know, maybe I could need some business advice.
It's a process, when you are looking for fund, it's a process. And even from the beginning, if I remember correctly, I've been on a presentation where they participate some of the investors in 2019, when we are even the beginning, we were 3 or 4 in the company, me and my brother and another 2, and we just took the money from the first angels. Let's say we've been at 1 month maximum from when we took the money, and they ask at that moment, okay, we made a pitch. Yeah, we are doing that, etc., etc. Okay, and how many you want? And it was a question from them, from a Google guy, actually. And I said, we do not need any money now. And he said, come on, let all tell you an advice. Anytime you should need money, like a startup especially, or any other company that want to grow and develop, you should not say
I don't need money.
I do not need
because
money.
It doesn't show vision, maybe, right?
Exactly. That is
which is a long-term thing. I mean, it doesn't stop.
Exactly. It shows that you are not... you do not know very well what are your dreams, you know?
Okay.
But it was a lesson for me, and I learned. And how it happened with VC is basically all the time when I had the occasion, I expressed my intention that we need more money in order to develop and grow and grow and grow. And I participate to Wolf Summit. I participate to a lot of events where are focused on that, because for a CEO of a startup, it should be in their resume. It will be be in their daily activity that should be done. So I was pitching all the time, and at some point of time appears the proper VC that is fitted for your needs and will cover, let's say, your smart money, if it will be the case. Depends for what you are looking for, because nowadays, I don't know how picky we should be, but appears, and I've pitched to a lot of funds or VCs that we discover that are backed by Russians, and nowadays I do not know if we should take any kind of money.
Yeah, you should be aware of the source,
exactly.
Probably.
Because you'll stop there. Probably it will be the last round that you'll take the money.
I mean, this is, I guess, where the politics gets into everything, right?
Yeah,
a little bit.
Politics or geopolitics.
Geopolitics, obviously, yeah. But it doesn't mean that you are a judge of the status quo, but it means that you need to be aware of how things are
working.
Yeah. And basically it's like a politics map that you need to understand at every stage. And that comes through maturity and exactly what you said. The fact that you had a business. And that, helps a lot. Responsibility.
Exactly.
Okay.
And small things that...
So many things that can actually be, translated, even though the core business is not the same. It's about habits and it's about education. Exactly. And we talked about education and how the startup landscapes in Romania at least looks right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe we're getting to the end of our podcast, but I want to touch on two things. One is about how I always come from the belief that I think we as a nation, and it's not a patriotic thing that I'm telling you right now, but I think we're talented people.
We are very talented.
I truly believe that we're talented people.
We are very talented, but we are not enough courageous.
True. So that's one thing. So courage and taking action, right?
We do not like to take risk enough.
Maybe that's a generational thing. Maybe I don't know, Gen Zs. Or
we're gonna see, but still, we are the country in the world that have 90% of the population have their own apartments, houses, etc. Yeah,
sure, but I think that's something else a little bit, and
something else, but it's telling about the risk.
Yeah,
we go for the things that are.
It's about belief in ourselves, first of all. This is something that I see. I see so many talented people, but they are not allowing themselves to be bold, brave.
Bold enough. Exactly.
Yeah, bold enough and see things at a macro level.
Exactly. Yeah, but hopefully they'll change a lot, because what I see now, I see a lot of people that, let's say, study abroad, because the kids of my friends, let's say like this, they're already looking for go abroad and study.
Okay, yeah. And that brings a level of education that's
Exactly.
helpful.
That is a total different. They are going to the university there, and most of them, let's say most of them here, 60-70%, so not so much, but most of them, they are coming back. But they are coming back already with another mentality. They have other examples, yeah,
And a strong knowledge base.
a
Because,
strong knowledge base.
I often see here in Romania a lot of gurus that will let's say that's their value prop. They will teach you how to grow a business, how to grow a startup. But I don't see enough founders to listen to them. So there's a mismatch between the numbers of gurus and the actual numbers of valuable startups.
Yeah, because those type of gurus usually want to build a very fast
I know
reputation.
what they're doing. Yeah, sure.
And,
we all know what they're doing.
Yeah, they are not really helpful.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
And I think this is why educating ourselves in a scenario, in a maturity, landscape of business knowledge will allow us to navigate much better here in our own scene.
I was thinking right now at how I began with the first company, with the vending machines. Because if I wouldn't go in a trip in France to travel with my parents at that moment, and I wouldn't seen that vending machine that sell goods, and in Romania when I started with vending machines, it's another lesson. When I started with vending machines in Romania, it wasn't appeared.
Okay.
Basically, I was one of the first that.
So it was a blue ocean here.
Yeah, it was a blue ocean. Yeah. But what's happened, because I've worked at the company told you at that data center, and from let's say 3 months, I've bought 3 vending machines with a credit, but it wasn't a problem because from the salary that I've gained, it was 10 times increase the revenue from the vending machines. And what I did, because I had 22 years, 23. Go to the parties, buying a car, not reinvesting, buying another vending machine, expanding, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, I have a lot of money, and guess what? 3 years more later, there are vending machines everywhere, and it was too late for me.
Cool.
So it's very important to even have some experience like that in order to not do the same thing and learn from your experience.
Of course, that's truly important.
But it's important to go abroad to see examples, to came back with ideas and implement it here, because here still it's a blue ocean in many areas.
True.
And we have many opportunities. From my opinion, probably United States is for the moment is not the country of all possibility like was before, but Romania, it is the country of all possibilities. It's safe, and we have a lot of things where we can improve.
Definitely Romania, I think, is on the hype right now.
Yes.
At least for the past 12 months. So yeah, in terms of what the country can offer, it's a lot. I wouldn't go as far as say that the United States is not the land of opportunity, because I still believe, although there are struggles, even they have their own problems, and we're not a political podcast here, but I totally understand. I totally understand the angle. This is why I believe that we should see more founders here, and building also deep tech. And I don't know, getting away from, that trademark of the outsourcing country, products built here. I mean,
not there.
hopefully we should get there. And you are one of the people that are making a difference.
Yeah. We even tried to go in the United States, basically. We had a lot of demand from there also. But because the United States is too large, and it's totally different from Europe, the investment that was needed in order to go there, it was higher than we can attract at that moment. We still want to go there because still is opportunity. And when we see that, for example, when 2 years ago, Temu and Shein, it wasn't so popular. It wasn't even present in the United States. And now they start allowing merchants, from United States to list their products on Temu, And when we've been, it was only Walmart, bigger players. Walmart, Etsy, Amazon, and more or less that's maybe eBay. But now appear Temu, Shein, and the competition will be higher and higher. It will be tightened, and that means a product like us, it will be very well fitted there. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough capital in order to expand also there, but it remains in our target because also there we study a little bit the competition, and again we are totally different than the others, and different means more simple to use because it's a new technology, and it's more simple to adapt. I think this is our main differentiator with any other competitors. Basically, put your credentials in less than 30 minutes. You can start to using it and see the results. With others, takes weeks, months in order to start working with other platforms.
And I guess you shouldn't be scared of, let's say, mature market. You can always have a different angle where your product looks different, feels different, and brings value in a different way.
For sure.
We touched a little bit on the duo that's you and your brother. I don't know. Probably there's an energy over there, but there's also something to be learned. We have a saying here in Romania, don't do business with your family, right? But then again, I think in your case, you have two, let's say, different skills that bring a lot of value together. So you have the CTO, which is your brother there, and then you have the commercial side of the things. How does the duo work?
Even me, in the end, I'm also developer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, basically even me. But my trajectory in life, it was a totally different. Basically, I moved from a programmer to consultancy more. I was more attracted about that, and the opportunity that came, it was from this nature.
Do you make decisions? How is the decision making process going, or the strategy when you guys are doing ideation, for example, about the business?
We have a top management team. Me and my brother and another two from the company. CRO that manages sales, and the COO that manage the operations, and we discuss the ideas that we have, or depends on the project that we want to do, and we take good and bad, and in the end I decide which one is better or not, but each one participate with their opinion, with their points that we'll tackle. So
there's an open floor discussion, and then there's a decision making in a center, which is you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Something like that. Yes.
Cool.
So that it's working, and with my brother, of course, there are goods and bads. That's the idea. I would not say that you should not do business with your family. Depends of the type of the family. Depends of the type of the people. It's not something that it's straightforward. So we are different, like people, like humans, and you should analyze in each particular case which it should be. In our case, because again, it's about the education that we receive from our parents and from our family, we love each other. Even if we have different perspective. And in the end, I will be for him there. He will be for me there. And even if we have different opinions, in the end, we'll take the best approach. And what's happening is that usually we have different opinions, and that it's a good thing from what I observe from the history, because he said left, I said right, and somehow we're going in the middle. And the middle, it was the best way to go.
You said something really beautiful. You said that you guys love each other. So I guess love and loyalty comes before anything else, and it actually allows you to go through even darker
I've
periods?
actually, I don't know, 2 months ago, I've discussed with the founder that I met last year of a company with AI. And what do you do? I didn't heard any. I'm very upset. My co-founder that was CTO left me. He want to do something else. Will not gonna happen in our case. So it's very, very important, especially in the area that you are not feeling well to control, or you are not an expert in that area, to find the proper people that to execute that. Otherwise, it will be a very, very big problem for you. And that's it for any kind of the business, to find your proper people that you taken on board. I think it's one of the most important things.
That's a great takeaways, and thank you so much, Ciprian. We are now getting to the end of our podcast. I think there were so many valuable things that you said, and the fact that we're ending on this note about trust and love, hopefully they could actually become something in terms of organizational culture, but the real deal, not the bullshit. Maybe one day something like this will translate, and it most definitely come from a startup.
Yeah, I also from multinational I worked, most of them had values of the companies, and one of the first thing that I made it with my brother in the company, let's define the values and let's keep these values. And when we take a decision, pass the decision through that values. It's fitted to all of our values.